The day Bak Mwit Kwang returned to the country, she threw a 1 million check at me. Get divorced. In my past life, I thought he was insulting me, so I tore the check and left with nothing. God, how stupid, I just want to slap my past self in the face. But this time, I held out 5 fingers, 100 million. A cent less means you're disrespecting true love. Luke Toi Hwan's face darkened. Lu Toa Toa, don't be so greedy. I immediately turned to the woman standing next to him, knew her, and said, Sister Swong, this man is useless. He won't even spend 100 million. Clearly he thinks you're not worth that much. New Ha glared at me, her eyes full of blame as she turned to look at Luke Toi Hwan. Luke Toi Hwan, not wanting to lose face, glared at me and said angrily, Fine, 100 million. But we won't divorce until the company wins the project. Until then, you're not allowed to do anything that affects my reputation. I vaguely remembered that in my past life, there was a project directly tied to the company's future. Luke Toi Hwan valued it immensely. I nodded to show I understood, then raised 5 fingers again, another 100 million. Luke Toi Hwan looked like a vein might burst. Lu Toa Toa. Do you have any shame? New Ha cut in. Lu Toa Toa, you should know your place. Do you even deserve that price? I looked surprised. What is Sister Suong saying? That the title of Madam Luke isn't worth 200 million. And as for shame, didn't CEO Luke and Sister Suong already throw that out the window while rolling in bed? Their faces turned green with rage, eyes full of fire. Oh dear, don't be shy. Firewood close enough to the fire eventually burns, I get it. Don't worry, once the money arrives, I'll become your official love bodyguard. Luke Toi Hwan was absolutely furious. Lu Toa Toa, where's your dignity? You'd throw away your character and self-respect for money. I really misjudged you. I thought you had class different from those women who only want my money. Humph. Turns out you're just like the rest of them. Luke Toi Hwan and I were worlds apart. Everyone said I didn't deserve him, called me a schemer obsessed with money, clearly after his wealth. Just to keep a shred of dignity and pride, I refused to take even a cent from Luke Toi Hwan outside of necessities. Never once did I ask for luxury items. I married a CEO yet still lived in hardship, working a job that paid just 3,000 yuan a month. Looking back, I was the biggest fool alive. I picked my ear and said nonchalantly, CEO Luke, make sure the transfer's complete by tomorrow, not a cent short. Then I pulled out a box of kidney tonifying supplements from my bag and handed it to Nuha, Sister Suong. If he's healthy, you'll be healthy too. So funny, the great CEO already needs kidney pills. Who'd want that? I, an orphan with no background, managed to marry Luke Toi Hwan only because of this face, a face identical to Nuha's. But I had no idea. I thought it was true love, like something from a fairy tale. Until Nuha came back from abroad, stormed into my house, slapped me across the face, stepped on my fingers and said, You a knockoff! Think you're worthy of standing next to Luke Toi Hwan? That was when I realized I'd been a stand-in for someone else for 3 whole years. 3 years ago, Nuha refused to get married, fought with Luke Toi Hwan and fled abroad. Luke Toi Hwan, angry, found a substitute me to marry just to spite her. They were playing a game of lovers' quarrel while I handed over my heart. I acted like the female lead in a tragic romance, refusing to divorce, trying every way to save our marriage. I humbled myself, begging Luke Toi Hwan not to divorce me, not to abandon me for the sake of our 3 years together. Who would have thought he threw a check at me and said coldly, We're husband and wife. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. With your current salary, you'd have to go 30 years without eating or drinking just to save up 1 million yuan. I'm already being generous with you. I refused to take it, crying as I told him he was insulting my dignity, insulting the love I gave him. Nuha rolled her eyes and mocked, You're clearly after a Hwan's money, but still pretending to be pure. I cried until my eyes were red and said to Luke Toi Hwan, Hwan, I really love you. I'll prove it to you. I tore the check and left with nothing. To survive, I worked during the day, delivered food at night. In the end, just for an extra 5 yuan in delivery fees, I drove while exhausted and was hit by a truck, died instantly. After death, my soul drifted next to Luke Toi Huan. I wanted to see when he found out the cause of my death, would he blame himself? Would he regret it? Cry for me? After all, I was a kind and innocent little flower, not after his money, only in love with him. Unfortunately, I overestimated everything. My death made him pause for 10 seconds, then he snapped his phone shut and took Nuha to a dinner party. I was so angry my soul died a second time. When I opened my eyes again, I discovered I had been reborn right back to the day he asked for a divorce. Perfect. If he didn't want a pure little flower, then I'd show him what greed for money really looks like. Early the next morning, I received a transfer notice, but when I saw the amount, I immediately frowned, only 5 million. I called Luke Toi Huan to ask what the meaning of this was. Luke Toi Huan said, "What if you don't keep your word and take the money only to slander my reputation later? Lu Toa Toa. This project is very important. I agreed to your terms. Can't you understand my concerns? Fine, I understand. Then CEO Luke, please draft me an IOU. State the repayment date clearly. If overdue, interest will be charged at the bank's loan rate." The other end of the line went silent for a while. Then Luke Toi Huan finally said, "Toa Toa. Since when did we become so distant? You used to always call me Ah Huan." "All right then, Juan, please draft me an IOU. State the repayment date clearly. If overdue, interest will be charged at the bank's loan rate." His breathing clearly became heavier on the line. In the end, Luke Toi Huan gritted his teeth. "Lu Toa Toa, don't push it. Oh, my CO. Luke, you're not planning to default, are you? I recorded our conversation yesterday. Actually, marital infidelity isn't that big of a deal, but if word got out that CEO Luke, still in his prime, needs kidney supplements, well, oh dear, Luke Toi Huan exploded. "Shut up, I'll send the IOU later." Then he slammed the phone down. I felt amazing. Why didn't I realize in my past life how calculating he was? Makes sense, a man who could marry a stand-in was never going to be decent. Trying to play the love card to scam money from me. Dream on, I waited 3 days. Still no IOU. I couldn't stay patient any longer, so I went straight to his company. Coincidentally, Nuha was also in his office. Her white shirt was unbuttoned down 3 buttons, and she was sitting on the desk with her arms around Luke Toi Huan's neck. When I pushed the door open, honestly, the most embarrassed one was me. The door wasn't locked, so I just came in. "How about this? I'll come back after you two finish. No rush, CEO Luke. Take your time, I can wait." I quickly stepped outside, even carefully closing the door for them. "Lu Toa Toa Luke Toi Huan is mine." "You can't take him back." I immediately grabbed her and started sobbing. "Sister Swang, you misunderstood me. I want to leave, but it's him who won't let me go. I'm really scared. What if he changes his mind and won't let me leave? Now, Sister Swang, I'm begging you. Please talk to him for me. Let me take the money and go." While crying, I also managed to smear a bit of snot on her dark red fur coat. Nuha's face turned green with fury. You, stay away from me. Fine, I'll leave. After all, I already disgusted her. I'd figured it out. Instead of fighting her head on, I might as well go completely unhinged and drive her insane. Inside the office, Luke Toi Huan's face was dark, and the area under his eyes was deeply bruised. I couldn't help but remind him, "President Luke's, make sure to take your kidney supplements on time, okay?" Luke Toi Huan's expression grew even darker, eyes flaring with anger. "What are you doing at the company? I came to get the IOU. Lu Toa Toa, don't push it." "You think I'd actually try to skip out on a debt?" I replied seriously. "President Luke, I wasn't worried at first. But looking at your current condition, you're still a man, and there's only so much stamina one has in life. President Luke? Maybe you should start holding back a little." Luke Toi Huan was so furious he slammed the desk. "Get out!" I pointed to the floor. "Get out, like, roll out, fine." I cradled my head and slowly rolled to the door, then rolled right back, smiling brightly. President Luke satisfied. Yet, if so, please write that IOU for me. Thank you kindly. If not, I can go roll a few more laps outside. To suffer within suffering, that's the way to rise above others. Walking out of the company building with that IOU in my hand, I felt like every bit of pain had been worth it. Going insane felt amazing. Half a month later was the group's 10th anniversary gala. Luke Toi Hwan requested that I attend with him. I cheerfully agreed, sure. But the gown, the shoes, the jewelry, skincare, pedicure costs. I'll charge those miscellaneous expenses to President Luke's work account. They're all standard professional expenditures anyway. In my past life, I was always scared of people saying I loved money. I pinched every penny, never dared to dress glamorously. Every time I attended an event with him, I only prayed not to embarrass myself, never once dreamed of standing out. Now it's different. We're getting divorced anyway. Someone else is footing the bill. What I need, I buy. What I want, I enjoy. No fun enjoying it alone. I called my best friend Jiang Li. My ally was the one I owed the most in my previous life. Ali was also an orphan. We grew up together in the orphanage, the closest people in each other's lives. When she heard I wanted a divorce, Ali did everything she could to help me plan it out. She even hired a private investigator to gather evidence of Luke Toi Hwan's infidelity, hoping it'd help me get the best possible settlement. But I gave all that evidence to Luke Toi Hwan just to prove I truly loved him. Even with evidence in hand, I couldn't bear to hurt him. In my heart, I hoped Luke Toi Hwan would be shocked, moved, awakened, and beg me to come back a dramatic chase the wife back arc straight out of a tearjerker. Great. He did chase me, with a stick trying to beat me out of the house. Because of that, Ali became hated by Luke Toi Hwan and lost her job. Ali scolded me for being stupid, for loving blindly, for being abandoned by Luke Toi Hwan. I argued with her in anger, saying, "What's wrong with truly loving someone?" We parted on bad terms. Even until the day I died, we never spoke again. But after my car accident, Ali was the first to show up and arrange my funeral, cremation, and burial. That day, I stood right beside her listening as she burned paper money and cried, scolding me for being love-blinded. By the end, she couldn't cry anymore and whispered, "Toa Toa, come back. I won't scold you again." After that, to avenge me, Ali exposed Luke Toi Hwan and Nuha's affair online. She publicly called out Nuha, who wanted to break into showbiz as a homewrecker. She even used her real name to accuse Luke Corporation of tax evasion, causing its stock to plummet. Luke Toi Hwan hated Ali so much, he hired someone to kidnap her and destroy her reputation. Ali had nowhere left to turn. Desperate suicidal, she drove her car into Luke Toi Hwan and Nuha, then turned herself in and went to jail. "I'm sorry, Ali. It was all my fault. Don't worry, this time I won't let you down." When she found out I planned to use Luke Toi Hwan's money to take her shopping, Ali freaked out and wanted to drag me to a fortune teller to see if I'd been possessed. In the past, I had to save 2 months' salary just to buy her a birthday gift, a gold bracelet worth a few thousand yuan. Looking at the supplementary credit card in my hand, I sighed. I was so young and dumb back then. Now I've seen the light. Ali hugged me tight, crying with joy. Finally, I have a bestie who's a rich woman. Spend it all. That scumbag dared to treat you like a stand-in. Our Totoa's worth more than whatever's in that guy's wallet. That afternoon, we treated money like weeds. Loved it, bought it, pretty swipe it, comfortable, pay for it, truly refreshing. But unexpectedly, we ran into Inhuha. Seeing Ali and me carrying armfuls of bags, Nuha's eyes were full of contempt. "Knew it. You were after Ah Hwan's money from the start. Money-hungry parasite, not just greedy, but trying to lift yourself out of poverty. Lu Toa Toa, you think Ahon's money is easy to get. You're using his money to buy stuff for stray cats and dogs. Did he agree to that? What you really see, Ahon as your personal ATM. Now get lost, return all of it. Ali fired back. Oh wow, the legal wife has no rights, but you do. Who are you, the mistress? Let me see what you bought. She snatched the bag from Nuha's hand. Out fell a black credit card with Luke Hoi Huan's signature on the back. Wow, a diamond watch worth over 1,000,000 yuan. Toa Toa, call the police, that's marital property. Nuha angrily shoved Ali away. Who's the third party? Not being loved makes someone the third party. Huan made it clear to her already. What right does she have to spend Huan's money? No one bothered arguing further with her. I pulled Ali back, then suddenly slapped myself across the face and dropped to my knees, crying loudly, Sister, haha, I was wrong as a wife. How dare I spend my husband's money? I'm despicable. All of my husband's money should be reserved for Sister, haha, to enjoy. I've sinned. I don't deserve to live. I'll go die now, I screamed instantly, drawing the attention of everyone around. Ali, my bestie through and through though, stunned, didn't stop acting. Heavens, a wife spends her husband's money and gets scolded by the mistress. Is this moral collapse or human nature gone wrong? The crowd quickly gathered to watch, some even pulled out their phones to film. It was hilarious. Luke Toi Huan only said not to damage his reputation, never said anything about protecting Nuha's. Besides, both Ali and I wore no makeup and dressed in activewear. Tomorrow, with full makeup, who would recognize us? But Nuha was different. With that designer outfit, she'd be recognized instantly. Sure enough, faced with the scene, Nuha panicked, hurriedly grabbed the card and fled. She didn't even bother picking up the fallen shopping bags. I rushed over and scooped them up. Her brand new luxury items, I could resell these for a fortune. Looking back, I saw Ali still staring at me, dazed. Crap. Did I scare her with my madness? Maybe I should stop going crazy like this in the future. Ali came to her senses, shaking her head quickly, her eyes shining. No, 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 Toa Toa, I love your crazy mode. It's amazing. Just as I predicted that evening, Luke Toi Huan called questioning and blaming me for causing a scene at the mall. I sent him a photo of me lying in a hospital bed, speaking weakly and full of grievance, Luke Toi. Huan, heaven and earth can testify in 3 years of marriage, have I ever asked you for luxury goods? Have I ever bought even a single Chanel bag? Today, Sister Xiong came and accused me of loving money, of eyeing your assets. I can't go on like this, I really can't. Heaven knows I love you, the person. I was traumatized, and I might not be discharged anytime soon. Luke Toi Huan sounded irritated. What about the 10th anniversary celebration? I coughed a few times, speaking with difficulty. President Luke wouldn't make me attend while ill, right? What if I say something crazy on stage? Maybe let Sister Xiong go instead. She's prettier than me, more understanding. Cough, cough. Never mind what others say, true love always wins. Just as I was about to hang up, 5 million more, Luke Toi Huan gritted his teeth. You'll attend the 10th anniversary with me. After the project is finalized, we'll divorce immediately. I perked up instantly. Will that 5 million be transferred right away? You already know my account number, just mark it as a gift. Lu Toa Toa, you're unbelievable. A few minutes later, 5 million yuan hit my bank account. I posted on social media, even illness can't stop my love for work. Time flew, the celebration arrived. Wearing a high-end evening gown, I slowly walked down the stairs. I caught Luke Toi Huan's eyes faltering just a moment. As expected, men are creatures who think with their lower halves. I had already moved out of his villa now, living at Ali's place. Technically, we hadn't seen each other in half a month. In my past life, I only cooked and cleaned for him, never cared for myself. Now with makeup on, like Ali said, my full curves outclassed Nuha's dried-up twig figure. I took Luke Toi Huan's arm, walked onto the stage, and smiled while he gave his speech. Watching him play the role of the perfect husband, his eyes gentle as water as he looked at me. For a moment, I recalled when we first met. There were happy days. Back then, he'd cook porridge for me whenever my stomach ached. On New Year's Eve, he once blushed and said, "I love you." My feelings for him had nothing to do with money. That's why I truly believed he came to me with sincerity, not like some rich playboy chasing fun. Unfortunately, those beautiful memories were like moonlight reflected in water. His bright moon hung high in the sky. Look up and you'll see it. And me, I looked down and picked up my own money. After the speech ended, the crowd began to mingle. Luke Toi Huan pulled me into a side room. Lu Toa Toa, come home tonight. After 3 years as husband and wife, there's still some chemistry between us. Seeing him rush off in a hurry, could it be that Nuha didn't satisfy him? President Luke still wants me, I asked. Luke Toi Huan nodded. Seriously, fine. 5 million yuan for one night. Luke Toi Huan trembled with rage. Lu Toa Toa, have you completely lost all shame? 5 million a night, what do you think you are? We're husband and wife. It's only natural that sentence made my blood pressure spike. President Luke, you know full well. Why must a wife unconditionally meet your needs without asking for anything in return? What have you ever given me? A wedding, a car, a house? You've given me nothing, only a marriage certificate that could become scrap paper at any moment. Think about it, my title as Mrs. Luke means nothing at all. Luke Toi Huan was so furious his face turned pale. He repeated 3 times, good, 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 Lu Toa Toa. If it weren't for the fact you look like ha, do you think a woman like you is someone I'd need? I gave you a chance. It's your fault for not cherishing it. In this life, don't even dream of ever touching me again. Wow, then I'd better light incense and thank the heavens I put my palms together reverently. Finally, I don't have to serve a man who needs kidney supplements. Luke Toi Huan couldn't take it anymore. His face turned dark and he stormed off in fury. After dealing with a few women at the party, I found a quiet spot by the pool to rest. Suddenly, a shawl draped over my shoulders. I turned around and saw a handsome face before me. Sis, be careful not to catch a cold. Oh boy, I could already smell the scent of scheming in the air. Sure enough, after we added each other on WeChat, that boy named On Lin started messaging me every few days. He didn't say much, mostly. Good morning and good night. Sometimes he'd send outfit photos asking for my opinion, but he loved posting on social media. For example, a photo of clouds from the airplane with a caption, I wonder what she's doing right now. Or a blooming rose garden captioned, even a garden full of flowers can't compare to one fleeting glance from her. Or the soft moonlight with, if I could watch the moon with her, I'd be so happy I'd go dumb. Finally, on my birthday, he called and shyly asked if he could treat me to dinner. The request was sudden, a bit unlike his usual timid personality, but I agreed. The dinner was arranged at a garden club. The sunlight was gentle. He wore a white shirt. A breeze rustled a few strands of hair across his forehead. Standing in the light, he smiled and waved at me. It suddenly reminded me of Luke Toi Huan from long ago. Sis, happy birthday. He handed me a bouquet of flowers. I was a bit surprised. How did you know today was my birthday? He smiled mysteriously. Because you're always in my heart. I smiled but said nothing, accepting the flowers from his hand. His warm fingertips lightly brushed the back of my hand. Seeing I didn't pull away, he grew bolder and poured 2 glasses of wine. To you, may you always stay young, healthy and happy. I accepted the glass, gently swirling the wine, smiling bitterly at myself. Who would have thought someone would remember my birthday? You're not happy. He looked at me with concern. You can talk to me. I don't want to see you sad. I hesitated, then sighed. Haiz, a wealthy marriage isn't something you can sum up in a few sentences. He was silent for a moment, then gave a bright smile. Sis, it's okay, because you've got a Lin by your side. A Lin knows the wife of a CEO may seem glamorous on the outside, but in truth, it's exhausting. That day at the party, I saw your weary shoulders, and I couldn't hold back the urge to shield you from the wind and rain. I know it's absurd. I know I can't compare to President Luke. I'm not asking for a title, nor do I dare dream of forever. I just want to be beside you, be your little puppy, and make you happy. My eyes lit up to shield me from the wind and rain. Really, he raised 3 fingers, I swear truer than truth itself. Then transfer 1 million to me first. I'm quite frugal, really. 1 million a month is enough. Alin's radiant smile froze instantly as if struck by lightning, sis. Why must you wound my heart like this? I don't have 1 million yuan, but I have a heart that loves you, one willing to risk everything for you, but not having it now. Doesn't mean I won't have it in the future. I'll prove to you that I can provide for you, and when that day comes, I'll have the right to call you. Toa, Toa. Right, sis, for our future cheers, please give me your blessing. I set down the wineglass covering my face as I sobbed. Alin, I'm really touched. I lost control. Turn around for a moment, will you? He stepped forward, gently touching my shoulder. Can I let you lean on me? I shook my head. No, please. Let me keep a little dignity. I never imagined I'd still encounter such genuine love in this life. Let me cry a bit just for a minute, please. Unable to resist my plea. Onlin turned his back. A minute later, I told him to turn around. Then, with tears still in my eyes, I raised my glass, Alin, for our beautiful future. Cheers, watching me drink. Onlin's eyes lit up. That look, exactly like mine when I see a huge pile of cash. 1 glass down, I swayed my head, spinning, leaning to one side. Onlin hurriedly caught me and whispered into my ear. Sis, feeling dizzy. There's a bed here. Let me help you lie down for a bit, okay? His tone sounded like a question, but his actions didn't hesitate. He carried me to the bed, then opened a drawer and pulled out a camera, pointing it straight at me. I wasn't the least bit afraid, lazily lying on the bed as I spoke. Alin, you're playing bold, huh? Aren't you afraid? Afraid of what I'm already here? How could this be missing from the plan? You better serve me well. I'm not sure if you're even capable. Onlin stammered, sis. Aren't you afraid President Luke will find out? Let him. He can't perform what I can't find someone else. You understand what a rich marriage is like. Come on. Alin, stop pretending. You're just after my body and money, right? Don't worry, I'm lacking company. Do well and you'll be rewarded. But looking at your skinny frame, doesn't seem like you've got much stamina. Doesn't seem worth much either. How about 500 yuan a night strip? Let me inspect the goods first, see if you're worth 500. Onlin's face clearly turned sour. Finally, when I began doubting if he was worth even 500, he exploded. Sis, you're seriously underestimating me. I don't move unless it's worth at least 100,000. In this case, President Luke already paid me 1 million. You think you can get me for 500? Keep dreaming. What I was shocked, Luke. Toy Juan actually paid you 1 million. Is he insane? You're worth 1 million. I don't believe it. No way. Luke Toy Juan wouldn't have such poor taste. You must be lying. You're not worth it. You're bluffing. I'll show you President Luke's transfer. Onlin, agitated, shoved his phone in my face. Open your eyes and look. I'm worth 1 million. Oh my God. Luke Toy Juan really transferred you 1 million. He gave that much for what? Obviously to lure you, make you commit adultery in marriage. Onlin suddenly covered his mouth, looking horrified, sis. Weren't you drugged already? How are you still conscious? And trapping me like this? I smiled sweetly. Because you're dumb, of course. That little trick of slipping powdered drugs into the glass while pouring you thought I wouldn't notice. You think a birthday party would move me? Hilarious. I'm no longer a love-blind saint. I just suspected you had other motives. I slammed the wineglass down as a signal. Right after that, Ali burst in holding a beer bottle. Onlin was tied tightly to a chair by the two of us. Under Ali's threat of a cracked skull, he confessed everything. Just as I suspected, he was sent by Luke Toy Juan to lure me into a trap. The goal was that after the partnership contract was signed, they'd accuse me of adultery and force me out empty-handed. With all the ironclad evidence they'd prepared, even if I released old recordings or presented Luke Toy Juan's debt papers, they could claim everything was fabricated. After hearing it all, I was so furious my blood boiled. I knew Luke Toy Juan was scum, but I never imagined he'd be this shameless. I'd been his wife for 3 whole years yet to avoid paying me. He'd go so far as to sabotage me. I was livid. Had I known, I would have agreed to sleep with him that day, then cut off his little brother once he passed out. Ali wanted to call the cops, but I stopped her. With Luke Toy Juan's connections, reporting him would be useless. Just like in my past life, Ali called the police but got nothing. Little On wanna earn 2 million. On Lynn's eyes immediately lit up. Really, there's something that good? You want me to be a double agent? The kid was young, but his awareness was pretty sharp. I nodded. Help me distract Luke Toy Juan, make him believe I've fallen into the trap. Use the excuse of us dating to squeeze money from him. We'll split whatever we get. Once it's done, I'll give you another 1 million. I shook the phone in my hand. Don't try anything funny. I've recorded your entire confession. The police might not be able to arrest Luke Toy Juan, but getting you would only take 1 sentence. What are you saying? On Lin suddenly put on a serious face. How could I possibly defy the teachings of my big sis? Right in front of me. On Lin sent Luke Toy Juan several photos of me lying on the bed. If we're acting, let's act it all the way. In the following days, I hid at home. Ali didn't go out. On Lin, rain or shine, stood below the building every day with a bouquet of flowers looking up at the windows. Finally, on a stormy night, I took an umbrella downstairs and brought him drenched like a wet rat back inside. The next day, we went travelling in Europe together. Of course, Ali followed us in oversized sunglasses, staying quietly in the background. Every day, Onlin reported our itinerary to Luke Toy Juan, sending photos and videos of us holding hands, and conveniently asking for more travel money. Luke Toy Juan was stingy, only sent 500,000 and demanded we visit quiet, low-cost places. The reason he didn't want us to be too flashy and risk exposing my identity. After all, with the project about to be signed, the wife of CEO Luke couldn't afford any kind of scandal. Fine. 500,000 was a bit tight, but still enough for us to get by. Time flew, a month passed. The project partnership deal was signed. I read the financial news and saw Luke Toy Juan's interview about the project. The moment the deal was confirmed, Luke Toy Juan called ordering me to come home. At that time, the 3 of us were enjoying the sun beach and some very toned abs on an island. We obeyed, packed up and returned right away. In high society, aside from money, it's all about parties. This time to celebrate the successful partnership, Luke Toy Juan threw a party. Guests were his close friends, family and project partners. The moment they saw me, every relative of Luke Toy Juan wore the same disgusted expression, like I was some sort of biohazard waste. In my past life, Luke Toy Juan had insisted on marrying me despite family objections. I used to feel incredibly guilty about it. So I'd always tried to integrate into his family. I didn't have money, but I had sincerity. I wanted to win them over with love and kindness to make them accept me. When Luke Toy Juan's mother had pneumonia, even the maid stayed away for fear of infection. Only I stayed at her bedside the whole time, caring for her until she recovered. But once she got better, all she said was clumsy, not even as good as the maid who cleans the toilet. That crushed me for a long time. I kept asking myself if I'd done something wrong. Not long after, she called again and asked me to take care of Luke Toy Juan's younger sister who was sick. I gladly agreed, thinking they were finally accepting me. Until one day I accidentally overheard a phone conversation between his mother and sister. It's just raising a well-behaved dog. If he likes someone, a hon can keep them outside. This one's just for punching practice. It's not like our house lacks a bit of dog food. Well-behaved dog, punching bag, dog food. So that's how they saw me, not even a human being. No wonder they didn't oppose my relationship with Luke Toy Juan, because in their eyes, I was nothing more than a pet. All right then, Today, let me show you what happens when a pet bites back. Nu-ha was at the party too, bringing gifts for everyone. With me, the dogtail, to compare to Nu-ha, the proper match naturally won favor with the elders. Luke Toihwan's mother feigned scolding her, lightly patting her hand. "You heartless girl! How could you bear to leave us and run off abroad? If you hadn't gone, you and Hwan would have a 3-year-old by now." Nu-ha deliberately glanced at me in mock surprise, then said, "Auntie, don't say that, Tua will get upset. What happened between me and Hwan? No one's to blame. It's just that Ha wasn't blessed. Seeing Hwan doing well, Ha-ha's already content." Luke Toihwan's mother shot me a look. Seeing me busy eating, she grew more annoyed. It's been 3 years and her belly still shows no sign of movement. Useless. All she does is eat, eat, eat. Was she starved to death in her past life? I promptly stuffed the last piece of cake into my mouth, grinned at her, and spit out a mouthful of crumbs. He successfully disgusted her. The party began. After Luke Toihwan's speech, he announced that they would show a video about the future of the project for everyone to watch and look forward to. From the audience, I led the applause enthusiastically. Nu-ha glanced at me with mockery, her voice just loud enough for me to hear "Lu Toa, you're dead meat." The screen displayed photos of me in disheveled clothes, scenes of me bringing a man upstairs on a rainy night, and even a video of me in a bikini playing on the beach with him. The entire hall was stunned. Luke Toihwan was the first to regain composure. He immediately turned off the video and angrily shouted, "Who did this? Who dared splice these images to slander my wife? That bastard really knows how to mislead people." Very quickly, a team of experts arrived. After checking the photos and videos, were all originals unedited, which meant no one slandered me. I had really committed adultery. Those who had sided with me instantly backed away, keeping a 3-meter distance, their eyes full of disdain. Luke Toihwan clutched his chest and questioned me in pain. Toa, I love you so much. Why would you betray me? Is there something I haven't done well enough? Tell me, I'll change." What an impressive act, perfectly playing the role of the heartbroken CEO. This way, whether divorced or remarried, everyone would only sympathize with him, bless him. All of that would become a stepping stone for his career. I looked up at him, unable to believe it. Someone who seemed so weak and helpless could hide such cruel schemes inside. Suddenly, I remembered a rainy night 3 years ago. He stood outside my house, begging me to be his girlfriend. His eyes were just as weak and helpless, making me soften, lower my guard, and believe in him in something called CEO love. What a pity! My kindness and sympathy ended up being fed to the dogs. Recalling my tragic death in my previous life, and Ali's desperation when cornered, my heart turned completely cold. Luke Toihwan, wake up! That woman isn't worth your sacrifice. Luke Toihwan, divorce her. Kick her out of the Luke family. A country girl like you marrying into the Luke family is your ancestors' blessing, and you dare betray Luke Toihwan. I'll beat you to death. Luke Toihwan's cousin jumped out and kicked toward me. Luke Toihwan immediately shielded me. That kick landed right on his back. This mess was getting out of hand. Everyone felt indignant for Luke Toihwan scolding me as an ungrateful, scheming woman. Luke Toihwan's mother was so furious she cursed him for being a fool. Nu-ha cried until her eyes turned red and said, Toa, Hwan is so good to you. How could you hurt him? You're just angry at me for coming back, so you cheated out of spite, didn't you? Hwan and I were childhood sweethearts. He did help me a bit this time, but that was just friendship between old friends. From beginning to end, there was nothing improper between me and Ahon. If you truly hate me, then I'll leave right now. I only beg you, please treat Hwan well. I've hurt him once already. Please don't hurt him again, okay? Among the guests, quite a few people knew about Luke Toihwan and Nu-ha's past. After hearing Nu-ha's words, their hatred for me only deepened. Luke Toihwan's cousin spoke up. Haha, if someone has to leave, it's her. You and a Juan were meant to be. If that shameless woman hadn't forced a Juan, why would he marry her? A Juan divorce her? Our Luke family will never accept someone with a stain on her character. Her words immediately gained approval. Everyone started chanting for Luke Toy Juan to divorce me. Luke Toy Juan stood in front of me looking heartbroken. Please don't hurt Toa Toa. Things have come to this because of me. Toa Toa, it's my fault. I shouldn't have forced you to marry me back then. If freedom is what you truly desire, I'll let you go. Let's get a divorce. Wow, finally delivered the most heartfelt line. Watching them act this whole time was exhausting. I calmly nodded. Will I get a share of the assets, Lu Toa Toa? You committed adultery and still dare ask for a share of the assets? What are you thinking? His cousin shouted angrily. There's no way a woman like you is getting a single cent from the Luke family. I'd had enough of these two. Since the day I entered the Luke family, they targeted me non-stop as if I'd eaten their rice or something. You two are annoying. What does me dividing assets with Luke Toy Juan have to do with either of you? What, you plan to be his children and claim his inheritance or something? Go mind your own business, always poking into others' affairs. Who do you think you are? I didn't expect that I'd dare to fight back. Both my cousin and his sister were so furious they wanted to hit me. But Luke Toy Juan stood in front of me, blocking their way. Toa Toa, I'll give you money, Luke Toy Juan said tiredly. N1,000,000 yuan, enough for you to live comfortably for the rest of your life. I shook my finger. No, 200 million, not a single cent less. 200 million. The entire room gasped. Another wave of curses erupted. But it didn't matter. They just kept repeating the same insults, calling me greedy, money-hungry, ungrateful. In the world of the wealthy, talking morality to me is the funniest joke. The ones who know the least about morality are them, the ones holding on to power and fortune, thinking they can control the world and decide the fate of ordinary people. I looked straight at Luke Toy Juan. This is the last time I'll ask. Will you give me 200 million or not? Luke Toy Juan turned his back to the crowd. From the angle, they couldn't see his eyes full of pressure as he spoke to me. Toa Toa. Cheating in a marriage, once it goes to court, you won't even get 5 million. Our eyes met. His gaze was full of confidence, like he was sure he had already won. Good, I clapped my hands. President Luke, the package that will ruin your reputation has been sent. Please check it. I slammed the wine glass down. The screen, which had been turned off, suddenly lit up again. On it was a video of On Lin tied tightly to a chair, confessing every detail of how Luke Toy Juan had bailed him out and told him to spike my wine. On Lin sobbed pitifully, tears streaming down his face. At first, I was just an obedient duck. It was President Luke who gave me 1,000,000 and told me to seduce Sister Toa Toa to create proof that she cheated in marriage so she'd leave with nothing. Boo-hoo! Sister Toa Toa, please forgive me. I heard President Luke has to rely on kidney supplements. But I'm still young, just say the word, and I can satisfy you immediately. Next came an audio recording the day I caught Luke Toy Juan and Nuha. In the recording, it was clear that Luke Toy Juan and Nuha had gotten intimate first. Then he promised to give me 200 million if I'd help maintain his good man image, wait until the deal was signed, and then divorce. The phrase kidney supplements came up again. Finally, there was another recording when I came to him about writing the debt agreement. Kidney supplements had officially become the center of attention. This reversal shocked everyone at the party into silence. Luke Toy Juan snapped out of it like waking from a nightmare, quickly shouting for someone to turn off the screen. But his staff had already been subdued by bodyguards, planted earlier by Ali. Lu Toa Toa, you dared to play me, Luke Toy Juan roared in fury. I shrugged, feigning innocence. President Luke, I only wanted to reclaim my 200 million. You're the one who insisted on ruining your own reputation. What could I do? Just then, the banquet room doors burst open. Luke Toy Juan's assistant rushed in, flustered and panicked. President Luke, bad news. Our company's stocks are plunging. All 5 partners have just announced they're pulling out. Recently, Luke Toi Hwan had been in a pitiful state. What happened at the party was supposed to only spread among the elite. But who would have thought Nu Ha, that heartless woman, to push me to death and secure her promotion, had secretly arranged for someone to livestream the whole event? When the part of me cheating and demanding 200 million aired netizens immediately rushed in to curse me out. They even dragged my ancestors' people who had never met me into it for insults. But once the tables turned, that feeling of being played made the internet crowd quickly switch targets, launching all their firepower at Luke Toi Hwan instead. The incident escalated rapidly. Several companies that had collaborated with the Luke Group immediately announced termination of their partnerships. Luke Group's stock price plummeted. Angry shareholders surrounded the Luke Group building with banners demanding an explanation. Online hashtags like #IsPresident Luke OK today and President Luke, the scheming genius of high society, dominated the top trending list for a whole week. One film company seized the opportunity and released a short film titled The Villainous Wife of President Luke. In just 3 days, it brought in over 100 million yuan in revenue. The film's main sponsor, a kidney supplement manufacturer, proudly watched its stock price skyrocket. As for me, just an ordinary film investor, really, made a few dozen million yuan from profit sharing, that's all. Half a month later, with the mountain of evidence, the court ordered Luke Toi Hwan to compensate me, 200 million yuan according to the loan agreement, plus emotional damages. When Luke Toi Hwan came to see me, his expression was far from pleasant. Ah, the business world is ruthless. Rivals only wished for the Luke family to collapse, eager to bite off a piece. I didn't even need to make a move. All the hidden evidence in the shadows started surfacing one after another. Tax evasion, asset transfers, grey industry chains. This time the Luke family was beyond saving. Toi. I was wrong. Luke Toi Hwan grabbed my hand, his eyes weak and shattered. When you left, I realized I no longer loved Nu Ha. The one I love is you. Please give me another chance. Come back to me, won't you? I let out a faint laugh. Do you love me or the 200 million in my hands? Luke Toi Hwan's face froze. Luke Toi Hwan, have you ever thought if I hadn't been alert and discovered your scheme, I would be the one ruined now? Would you have helped me? No way. You'd be raising your glass with Nu Ha, celebrating your perfect plan and your so-called love. So tell me, why should I help you? Who do you think you are? Luke Toi Hwan stopped pretending. His eyes turned cold, full of hatred. Lu Toa, do you think just because you have some money you can beat me, I'll make a comeback and bury you where no one will find your corpse? I wiped the spot on my hand where he touched me with a napkin, smiling. Let's see then. 1 month later, the Luke family's corporation was liquidated. Rumor has it there's no hope of recovery. I once thought that a corporation like Luke Group was untouchable. Someone like me could only look up in awe. But before the law, they're nothing. Serves them right. One beautiful day, I went with Ali to view a penthouse apartment. From afar, I heard the argument of a man and a woman. The voices sounded familiar. Got closer, and well, what do you know, familiar faces indeed. Nu Ha was dragging a suitcase trying to leave, while Luke Toi Hwan refused to let go. Ha, you promised you'd stay with me no matter what, Luke Toi Hwan pleaded. Nu Ha looked annoyed. Get a grip. If I hadn't heard you took over the company, I'd still be living it up abroad. Why would I come back? Luke? Toi? Hwan clenched his teeth. What's that supposed to mean? Now that I'm broke, you want to leave, I ended up like this because of you. Nu Ha shot back bluntly. So what? Without Luke Group, what use are you to me? She made her point crystal clear. Annoying as it was, she still had to act like she cared, exhausting. I really didn't get how Lu Toa endured those 3 years. Nu Ha, that wretched woman. Smack Luke Toi Hwan slapped Nu Ha hard across the face. The two of them started tussling, turning the scene into chaos. Sensing things were getting out of hand, I quickly opened my videos app and started live streaming. Ali, ever thoughtful, called over the building security. Only after netizens had their fill did we let them break the two apart. Hair dishevelled Nuha just wanted to run. She even forgot we were enemies. Seeing me, she acted like she saw her saviour rushing over and saying, "You totally deserved that 200 million yuan. I've been wronged, so wronged. In this lifetime, I never want to see anything related to kidney supplements again." Well, fine. Seeing that she seemed truly enlightened, I'll let it go. "Lu Toa Toa, what are you doing here unless you beg me? I'll never get back with you." Ali shot him a glare and shoved him aside. "We're here to buy a house. Kindly get out of the way." The building manager forced a polite smile, Mr. Luke. "The buyers of the penthouse are these two ladies." In the end, Luke Toi Huan had no choice but to sell the penthouse he once lived in with New Ha. If he didn't, he'd have to compensate me for breach of contract. Truth be told, the money used to buy this apartment was marital property jointly owned by me and him. Well then, consider it charity for the poor. After all, I'm not short on money anymore. When I signed the contract, Luke Toi Huan gritted his teeth and said, "I will definitely come back." I nodded repeatedly, "Come back again just to die an even worse death." As for what happened to Luke Toi Huan afterward, I no longer cared. Rumour has it he relied on his handsome face and went off to marry into a wealthy family. And me, after tasting the sweetness of my debut short film, I decided to invest and co-produce with Ali, becoming a young boss lady with smooth sailing profits. 15 days after being detained, On Lin came to me saying he wanted to be the male lead in a short film. I refused immediately. Ling, the entertainment industry isn't a dumpster where anything can be thrown in. If you, a gigolo once hired to harm someone, can become a celebrity, then what will the audience learn? If your day job is being a 208, how can you face people out there working honest jobs? On Lin burst into dramatic tears, swearing he'd never be a gigolo again and that he'd never take money to hurt others. I was satisfied and handed him 1 million yuan, the amount I had promised him from the beginning. I'm someone who keeps her word. After receiving the money, he stopped crying, but kept pacing back and forth, turning around every 3 steps. Finally, just before stepping out the door, he looked back and asked Big Sis, "Don't you need a man by your side to keep you warm?" I glanced out the window. Ali was standing on the balcony, smiling as brightly as the March sun. She was on the phone discussing a new project. I chuckled softly. Men aren't essential. They're just accessories toys for decoration. Life is a never-ending journey of learning, and sometimes the most expensive lessons come from the deepest wounds. The protagonist of this story once loved wholeheartedly, trusted blindly, and sacrificed her pride for someone unworthy. But that very betrayal became the catalyst for her awakening, making her wiser, stronger, and more resilient. She didn't choose to be a victim. She chose to rise to reclaim justice with reason, pride, and the courage of a woman pushed to her limits. This story reminds us no matter how bad things get, as long as you don't abandon yourself, you still hold the reins of your own life. Because true strength isn't about not feeling pain, it's about walking out of pain with your head held high. Thank you for watching Ken Stories. I hope you enjoyed a relaxing and captivating storytelling experience. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support gives me the motivation to create more amazing content.